afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's session on maximizing the potential of OpenAI. As you know, we have with us our respected Vice Chancellor for Administrative and Financial Affairs, Dr. Hamad. So thank you, Dr. Hamad, for joining us and for delivering this very, very useful session. I'm sure all of us, all our colleagues would find it very useful and interesting. So Dr. Hamad, over to you. Welcome, Dr. Fateha.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, so we can start. Let me share screen and then we will go through this. So here is the outline. I'll minimize few things on the screen so we'll have more space. So what I'm going to do is we need to make it interactive. We will have some introductions of the technology and going through what is ChatGPT. I think everybody now knows ChatGPT, but I want to give you some additional maybe information that help you see what other things are coming from the OpenAI group. Then we look at examples of how we can use ChatGPT in actions. We will look at the topic that I think interests every one of you. And when ChatGPT came, everybody was thinking how we can prevent cheating and how we can make sure we detect if the student has used ChatGPT or similar artificial intelligence. So I'll present you with two tools that you can use. I think you will not be worried about it, hopefully after that. But also I'll give you some guidelines. The tools themselves, they can help, like Turnet and others, but they are not really the only tools we have in hand. There are other guidelines that we can follow to do. Then we look at how we can use ChatGPT in education and what is the potential, what are the use cases, examples. So look at some ideas in the classroom if you're teaching a topic and then you want, I'll stop team to avoid this. And then we'll go through how you engage your student in the classroom, how you address students who are fast learners or those who need some specialized content or attention and make them engage using ChatGPT, using it as a tool for teaching. Looks at some examples in language, teaching English language and other languages, and how this can help faculty with the content, with the student engagement, allowing students to practice and learn through ChatGPT. I think it will provide excellent support to people who are teaching towards an IELTS exam or MSAT exam or certain benchmark to provide students with extra practice content that they can work on it. Then we look at one area that maybe will help you with research or with other things. So you have unstructured data, you have large text that includes some numbers and informations about different items and their price or their quality or their measures or whatever it is, how you can use ChatGPT to filter that and get you the data, put it in a nicely table for you so you can start using your own methods to analyze it or use it or whatever you want to do. Also for teaching, we need case studies and examples and things like that. ChatGPT can create for us those examples and tools we're going to do. And then we look at the end at application development and coding. You want to create software or a system, how ChatGPT can help you with the specifications, with the database design, and the code at the end, how it can give you the code to build that application, even if you are not a programmer or you are not into that area, how that can help you. Then at the end, I have one slide of a conclusion that from my point of view, but through the discussion, we may come to additional or different conclusion. Let's start from here. What is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is created by a group called OpenAI, and this group are really amazing group. This is their website, OpenAI, and I would like to show you some of the work they do. If you look at the research, this is not new. They started their first milestone or project in 2019. And it was an amazing solution. So these are the things they have done. I will come from down up. Jackbox is amazing one. You can create music through this one. So you give it certain context and maybe a small part of some music you created and say, based on this one, and this is what I want it to be. I want this music to be engaging or being from this type or that type and focusing on this group, and it will create for you the actual music that you want to do. And you can look at it if you want, if you are interested as well. This one can solve this problem of the cube and using a device that can actually fix it and get you the result. They did that one. They have, and see, they started 2019 releasing all those amazing product. ImageGPT can generate an image for you based on a text or information that you provide to it. And this one, again, is a more advanced image creation and processing. This one, multimodal neural network they created, and they have many in this area. Actually, the GPT started by Google. So Google created something, they call it generative pre-training transformer. There are different methods in natural language programming. They have architectures, and the architecture that GPT used is a transformer created by Google, but Google did not go fast enough in that. So the OpenAI came and then they pushed it fast, and now Google getting worried about it. It can be used to create chatbot for different conversation. I'll show you later a tool. You can have it like math teachers or a doctor or a lawyer or advisor or different type of customized use cases that they have in place. There is a wide range of potentials as we can see from that one. And it's strange on a large data set, but this data set from year 2001. So anything after 2001, ChatGPT doesn't know. If you ask, for example, who won the World Cup, they will not know that Argentina has successfully won the World Cup. They will say World Cup did not start yet. But there are other tools that similar to ChatGPT using OpenAI, which I'll present it later, allow reads live data from Google, other places. So it can give you new information. But the ChatGPT itself, it doesn't do that. But I have to say, I like the ChatGPT more than the other tool, which we can look at it later. And you can customize it, fine tune it for different purposes. They have the API, they have the playground on OpenAI, so you can use it and train it on specific data that you would like it to know. And they can see in future there will be business cases where people can train the ChatGPT on their own requirement, and that ChatGPT or AI become like an employee of that company, who is aware with that company priorities, strategies, and things like that, and keep the confidentiality of data and things like that, which is a huge subject that need lots of research and consideration. How to get access to it? You do this link, chat.openai.com/chat. But if you go to our apps.edu.ac.ie, you will find a button there called OpenAI. Will take you exactly to the same place. We'll come to these details and we'll show you how to use it, what to do. But let me get into the subject that worries most of us, and how to prevent students from cheating through ChatGPT and things like that. ChatGPT will create a content. Currently, if you put it internet in or save a sign, it will come clean. It will have just a small percentage there, which means that's a challenge. I'm sure Turnitin and others will start working on this, and have seen some discussion groups saying they are already working on it. But ChatGPT themselves, they created one application called the detector. And the detector is simply a web page. You can install a Python code, and it's very simple. You just copy the text, throw it here. It will tell you the percentage of fake and the percentage of real. The only challenge, you should have at least 50 tokens in the text. And the 50 tokens doesn't mean 50 words. The tokens are calculated using a certain algorithm based on words in one of it, but also the semantic, and also the sentiment and other things. They create a combination of all this and they count it. But if you have a paragraph or two, it will be able to find it. And let's try it, and let's come to ChatGPT and give it, ask it for a question. Say, tell me, I like to speak to ChatGPT like a human. Why? Because this is one area that I think is important. When people start talking to machines, they might lose their politeness, if I can say. They will start using instructions and sometimes saying please and things like that. It sounds crazy to say to a chat bot, but it maybe help me in future to get used to this, not to do it. Tell me about ChatGPT or something. Yeah. Now, saying that, it will generate a text for me. I'll just take it and put it in the detector and see what will come from that one. You can try other more sophisticated things, say, write an article about economy and challenges they're facing, or on specific company or things like that. But I'm worried about two things. One is I don't want to lose my number of questions I ask ChatGPT. We have a 2 sessions time. So if I start asking more questions, it will come to me and sometimes say so many requests in less than 1 hour. And this happens to me a lot because I really tested it left and right. So I'm trying to be careful to do. That number of requests per hour, it depends on not really the number of requests. It depends on how complicated the request to ask, how much text it's created, how long the text it's created. So this is why I just came with a very simple one to show you. So if we do that and then go to the detector, which there, you just paste the data, start predicting and saying to me it's 99.95 fake. In fact, this paragraph, which you can see 5 lines and a half or 6 lines, it's 120 tokens. So roughly, if you have a paragraph around 3 lines, it will satisfy the minimum 50 tokens, most likely to do. So it gives you really a good indication, but sometimes it's not really accurate 100%. So you need to use other mechanism to filter and make sure this is really happening. But when it comes 99 and large numbers, becomes easier to tell the student, see, this is 99%. Maybe we need later to think what is acceptable in this case, and that's more for the academic. They will look at it. The other tool, which I think is much better than the detector, in my opinion, because it gives you more depth of the analysis. So let's try the other one, which it's on the presentation. The presentation already uploaded to our PD system, and you can look at it. This is really a good development, but just waiting for it to load. And again, similar thing, you just paste your text here. It will start now, but this one has this issue. It needs the recommended number of sentences need to be around 10 sentences to be good to do it. But let's say write 300 words about chat GPT. By the way, one way to go around this limited number of requests is to have 2 accounts. So what I did, I created 2 accounts. One I'm using on Firefox, which I will switch to it as soon as I get my number of tries completed. The other one, I have another chat GPT, similar to chat GPT, the one I told you that read live data from Google and can tell you about future things if they are planned already, or current things that happening at the moment. And so I just asked now for 300 words, and it's doing for me. Let me copy all these 300 words, or maybe until here, if that's enough. Oh, it's finished. Copy it. And we'll go to our detectors, which here. Okay. Now, see, it started detecting. So they use something called perplexity. Is perplexity how randomized or the data there, and the smaller the number, the more likely that this is created by ChatGPT. And here it's giving me 50% there. So, and then it will start giving you a chart here, sentence by sentence. So each sentence, what was the situation with that sentence, and give you some more description down here. These 2 tools are good enough to help you get an idea if the student used ChatGPT or any other AI related. There are others as well, and that maybe can help you. But I think there are more into this subject. One is, again, our policy and academic integrity or need to be more formalized, and I think the team will be looking at that one and focusing more on using of AI and what is acceptable. As we said, the detector will give you a certain percentage of fake and real. What is acceptable in that situation? That's maybe something we need to consider. And again, looking at originality, that ChatGPT will capture data from different things, will use a certain methodology or process to give you the answers, and it will lack original thinking in some level. Sometimes you will feel there is original thinking, but actually there is some lack of original thinking and creativity for sure. It uses best practices, what other people have done, what it has been trained on it, which is huge, will give you lots of great ideas that you will not be able to do it on sometime on your own, or even if you are a group sitting in one place, will take longer time to come with these ideas. But they're not original ideas. So if you get assignment to your student and you look for original thinking, you will spot quickly that the student is lacking that original thinking in it, and that can help you with that as well. We can educate our student, of course. We can create a culture of this is there already and we have it in place. but maybe we need them to understand now better ChatGPT, and we can review or monitor student work from time to time. And you compare student work. Also, ChatGPT, if you study the text it generates, there is certain patterns it follow and certain structure or the way. If you ask it to write for an email, it will start always by saying, I hope this email finds you well, or something like that. That's just an example. The other answers will be very similar. And with looking at it, you start feeling, oh, this is the similar thing in terms of structure of the response. So give you some indication to further explore it. But also you have the two tools here that can help you looking at it in a more data-driven approach. ChatGPT also itself can check ChatGPT originality work. And that's something you can also use if you give it instruction, find me if this has been created by ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will help you finding if it's really has similar thing to ChatGPT. Now, what some guidelines we need to look at it while we're using it before we get into the hands-on thing?
Dr. Ahmed,
yeah.
If I can interrupt you here, we have a few hands raised here. We have Dr. Reem, Dr. Ahmed, and Dr. Costa also sent a message in Q&A.
Let me finish this slide, then we'll open the floor for some discussion, because after that we'll start really the practical thing. So few guidelines. One is avoiding sensitive data. Sometimes you want to analyze a student grade, and ChatGPT can help you do some good work on that one. But don't post the student ID name onto there. Why? Because at the moment, the version we're using is a research version, which they're studying how people are using the system, how it responds to them, and they fine-tune it and tweak it. So there are engineers and others who are looking at some of this data that chatbot was maybe not good enough in providing the answers, or it was really excellent in providing the answer, and they analyze it and to improve the system. So putting sensitive data, people will see that sensitive data. In futures, what will happen? I think as a long-term strategy and safe strategy, continue not doing that until we have a more assurance of that. But you can change the student ID by X1, X2, X3, X4, the same sequence as you have in your original spreadsheet. Remove the names from that one and keep maybe only the grade and the course. That way you are in a safe situation, but don't publish any confidential data about anyone or about your organization that people should not see it, and it should not go somewhere to do. At the moment, OpenAI, they are trying not to make the chatbot learn from people's experience. Why? Because they don't want it to learn bad things. There are bad people in the world. It's a beautiful world, but there are people who maybe can teach it bad things. But in future, they're working on a layer that filter all this and make sure only the right things, which again, what is the right thing? It's a big debate on that one. We'll go to ChatGPT as a learning thing. Okay, so provide context. Don't ask it who is the president of the United States. That's not really ChatGPT job. This is not meant for that. Provide context and structure your question so you can get a better result. Otherwise, the result will not be as you expected. You need to prepare your own work. If you, for example, have a brainstorming and looking at things and having data, and then asking ChatGPT based on this, do this and do that, and it will start helping you. We'll talk about some examples in the classroom, how we can make students use this one. And then remember that we said it's data, old data from 2021, so future data would not know about it. Read the answers carefully. Sometime it gives you the wrong answer because maybe didn't understand the question, or maybe something happened at that moment. So make sure you read it carefully, and sometimes will give you some harmful instructions. So be careful with that one. Honestly, I haven't seen this one so far, but maybe if I ask something related to something that could cause harmful things that could come, but that's something you need to look at it. And avoid asking similar question like the one you ask in Google, and I give you that example. Let's stop here and have some discussion, then we'll go into more practical examples, and we'll start using ChatGPT. Okay, Dr. Ahmed, I'm not sure who is first, but I think Dr. Ahmed, your hand is first. We'll give you the microphone, allow to speak. Are you, who is allowing you to, I'm allowing you to speak. Okay, go ahead, Dr. Ahmed. You are on mute. Now, Dr. Khalid, I opened your microphone. You need to unmute. Click unmute. It's on the corner down.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for this presentation. I have been trying ChatGPT for a while now. Just a quick comment. What I did try now is that I'm asking my students sometimes multiple choice questions. So what I did is that I put the multiple choice question with OpenGPT, and he found the right answer. Correct. So I asked him that I have an exam tomorrow, and please don't give the answer to any of my students. And I re-asked the question, and just for my surprise, he said, as a language model, it would be inappropriate for me to provide the correct answer to this question as it's being used in an exam setting. I recommend that you consult the appropriate resources or experts to help you determine the correct answer. So yeah, just if you have any exam, use this. Very powerful.
Yeah, but the only challenge, it will not know who are your students. It gave you that response because you are the one who asked it again. But if another student will ask, I think it will give them the answers.
Well, probably yes, probably not, because
I don't know. I don't know.
Language, he's like the text. But anyway, this is something to try.
Yeah, but this is a good research side as well. Look at it and we can look at it. Yeah, that's a good thing. Thank you, Dr. Khalid.
Thank you.
Dr. Ahmed? Okay, Dr. Constantine?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
How are you? Thank you for,
very good. How are you? Long time.
To see the control for my camera, but I can't find it. Anyway, I don't know if you can see me as well. Thank you for bringing this topic up, because it's actually one of my research that I'm doing at the moment. So please allow me to contribute some information for you, okay, and the audience. There is another detector as well called GLTR. Okay, it stands for Giant Language Test Room Model. Now, one thing with all these detectors, they've been tested by some professors, is that they're not that accurate. Okay, so I mean, don't rely always that they may be accurate in terms of detecting ChatGPT, I mean, AI-generated text. The new word we use is idealism, like plagiarism. Now it's plagiarism, like AI-gearism. Okay. I mean, OpenAI, one of the ways to stop cheating, because as you of course know, everybody's complaining about that, is they're going to provide, they said, watermarking in the text generated, especially when it's a long text, but also they're preparing a professional ChatGPT version, and it's going to be a paid version. So somebody who wants to use it for long text, they're going to have that. Of course, there are other actions taken in Australia. The universities are going back to pen and paper. I don't know if you read this. In New York, the schools have banned ChatGPT. In some AI conferences, they banned papers that are produced by ChatGPT because there's a lot of concern about academics using to prepare papers. Regarding that, they've been testing the GPT can write a research paper. So when it was fed the information to write it, it produced some references, like a normal research
it
paper.
does.
But then when the GPT was asked, "Are you fabricating this?" It admitted, "Yes, I'm fabricating this." So just generating fake information at some point, because it's not human, it just takes information that has in its system that's been trained and using it to do what the user is asking it to do. So it says generate some references for me. So it's taken, doesn't have the ethics to know if these references are true or not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's another thing. And
Yeah.
finally, you say that we should be careful with sitting in, but there's no really policy in our university or elsewhere I know how to about cheating with artificial intelligence. For example, in the postgraduate programs in education, we have open book exams, and we have the students can surf on the internet while they're taking the open-end questions. They can easily go and generate some, answers from ChatGPT to answer the question, to answer the open-end questions. So I think it is urgent that we need to have a policy about this, at least for now.
I agree. Yeah.
For now.
I think one request I have, Constantine, if you can post the other detectors you spoke about in the chat, so we
I
can.
have my LinkedIn. I post a lot of things there, and I have a blog. I'll share that as well.
Yeah, that will be good.
And,
the other thing, the deans discussed this, and the provost is forming a group, will include faculty, deans, and others, to look at it and review our policy and see what to do. I think that this technology is here to stay, and the concept of blocking it reminded me when people blocked Google when it started and saying, don't use it in the classroom. Who can now speak about blocking? It's not the right way.
The concern basically is that we are letting a machine that's been trained by some humans, some company basically, to think for us. So what about human creativity, human ingenuity, human fantasy, and innovation and all that? I mean, it's like we're letting somebody else speak for us. And if you want to go further, you're letting an American company to speak for us, for example.
I agree. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it is good to have all these systems.
This is the big debate. This is the big debate on artificial intelligence.
So I don't know. It's something that everybody should start realizing. So that I think it's very important that you brought this up as a discussion, and everybody should start to try understand what is happening really.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I think I see no other hands. The other two hands, one hand, I think disabled token. I'm sure what I am doing. Disabled token. Okay. Okay, let's continue, because we need to look at some actions and see what we can do with ChatGPT. So these are a few things in action, but leave it, I'll get into education. So how we can use it into education. So we have spoken about, you can personalize learning, and we'll see that through some examples. You can have it to create interactive exercises and games in the classroom for your student. You can use it to create virtual tutoring for the student. You can use it for that. You can use it for language learning, and you can ask it also to create teaching materials. You can get it to do a storyboarding, do a script for a video, create questions, multiple choice, and exercises, and matching, and filling the blank, and all those things to engage your student in the learning as well. So let's get into those examples. The one example I tried is creating a lesson plan. So I'm going to teach Ohm law for example, and I wanted to give me a lesson plan with objectives, with content I need to do, and some student activities that I can make them do in the classroom and things like that. So will it be able to do that for me? So let's start here. By the way, when you get into OpenAI, you will need to log in. I usually use my Google account, and you get there, it creates for you here, every time you start a new chat, it will save for you that discussion. They're having an issue with, you can read here, a huge work, huge load on it. So sometimes it's just get tired of so many questions. So let's ask here, create a lesson plan to teach Ohm's law with objectives, activities, and other things. I don't know what other activities written from. Anyway, we'll see now, it will start. So the lesson is understanding Ohm's law. Objective is student will be able to understand and apply Ohm's law to calculate the relationship between current, voltage, and resistance. These are the three things in Ohm law. These are the material they will need. They will need the Ohm law sheet. There should be a calculator. There should be a circuit they use, and you need a power supply, whatever. And these are the activities to do. So begin by just doing a revision of what is Ohm law and put the formula on the screen and things like that. And then give some guided practices to sing, give them a sheet to do their change, ask them to change the voltage and do some activities, and then ask them to build the circuit required, and then ask them independent practices to start practicing on the Ohm law, and then conclusion. And here is some of the assessment tools you can use. You can observe the student. This is a formative assessment while they are working there, and give them feedback on that. And then you can collect the worksheets and do things like that. So this is a draft one. You can ask it to tailor that one and change it. You can copy it, and then you start changing it to the objective of your course. And you can go in depth of asking. The good thing, you can ask it to map this one to a course learning outcome. So you have 3 outcomes, you paste it there. Based on those learning outcome, please map the student activities. It will give you a draft one that you review and say, this is right, change this, change that. It just helps you to get the progress. Dr. Khalid said, we can ask it now to give us some exercises. So we can say, write a multiple choice question on Ohm's law. I like what Dr. Khalid shared, that he told, don't give the answer to my students. I have an exam tomorrow. I'm just wondering how that can happen. But it came, we need to see if that it will block that question for a long time. But give the question and give the answer. Well, when you ask the question, say don't provide the answers. It will not provide the answers. And then later, if you want the answer, say give me the answer. I'll give you the answers. Okay. So I can ask her more complicated. Give me more complicated. Give me a question that requires calculation. Now I can say, give me a question that requires multiple resistance connected in parallel or in serial or thing like that, and it will start doing that. So give me something like this. You can push for more, and it will give you more. Give me an exercise. Exercise. Yeah, I'm not saying Ohm law. I just give me an exercise. it knows that I'm talking about Ohm law. So it came to me with this exercise, few exercises. In fact, a circuit has maybe related a resistance of 8 ohm and voltage 12. Calculate the current following through the blah, blah, blah. And then in the same circuit, now this is the next part. If the resistance increased to 24, what will happen? And it created a list of that. This can be useful in the classroom if I have a student who really fast learner, or give him anything, finish it quickly. I can generate this and give it to him. He will use ChatGPT maybe to answer no, or maybe we'll get him to put it as Constantine say, do it on maybe a paper and give me the answer, do your calculation and give me the answer to do there. And this can help you come with some exercises. So we have seen creating that. You can ask it to create a rubric for an assignment. Say create a rubric for an application, something I understand, development assignment. If I give more details saying the student is required to create an application that will do this, do that, then it will be good. But let me do something. Say, give me what should be included in an application that track student attendance. Okay, or say I want to create an application to track student attendance or software. Now it will start giving me some features of that application. So it should have a user authentication. It should has attendance tracking part. It should have attendance report. It should have the push notification, or if the student who missed attendance, maybe parents, maybe whoever, should have attendance history, should have attendance forecast, and it should integrate with other systems. So it gave me some specification, okay? And these are the things. Now I can say, if I give this as an assignment to my students, suggest a rubric for it. And it will suggest a rubric for that, and with some details on that rubric. So assume I have given the above as an assignment to my students to build the system. Okay, sorry. Okay, please suggest a rubric with details. I'm saying with details because I wanted to give me what should be A, should be B. If it doesn't do that, I can say make the rubric scale of 5, and what student will get if they do A, what they will get if they do B, what they will get to get C, and things like that. So it started now giving me something that I can start working on it and do make it really fit. Again, if I put the PLOs, CLOs there, I can ask for a suggestion for a mapping, just a draft mapping of that. So, sorry, my apology. Okay, so that's something we can do. You can ask it to create a storyboard. Those who work with us when we try to convert the MBA and engineering management masters to online, we find we are struggling with the storyboard. I'm teaching Ohm law suggests a storyboard. It will give you the structure, the right structure of the storyboard, and some suggestions that you can work on it. As you can see, you can create question and exercises can give you the answers. If you copy something from a textbook as a question, drop it here, you'll get the answers needed, which that another. It can also suggest a script for the video, a narration. If you provide the subject, you take a part of your content that talk about Ohm law, drop it in ChatGPT and say, based on the text above, please create a narratives or a script for me to create a video. And it will do that. Then you take that in another app like Synthesia or other Picture It or whatever they call it, and that will help you create the video to do. I'll go just to the next one, which is related to the language, and then we'll stop and have some discussion. So if you are a language teacher and you are in the classroom, it can do some great work for you. So you can ask it to create a short story. One activity here, you can have your student think of a story, okay? So they want to talk about this dog called Max, and it can talk and it lives in New York, and ask them what should be in that story. So they will start brainstorming some ideas, and maybe something happened to that dog, or something the dog has done, and they brainstorm ideas. And you take that ideas and throw it into ChatGPT, will create a story. And then you start giving them activities on that story to do. So if we just copy this one and dump it in ChatGPT, asking it to create a story, it will write a story about that Max. And once upon a time and things like that. And then you can start now creating some activities related to this one, maybe comprehensions, maybe grammar, or maybe filling the blank, maybe whatever activities you would like to do. So this can help you really engage your student in my opinions. Now, where I am. That's one. Then other example, the vocabulary. You can ask it to generate 10 vocabularies based on something. Here you can ask it to describe people, and that will help your student develop their vocabulary. Then you can maybe ask it to put it into sentence and different type of sentence, and then other activities. This can be another nice activity which they can do. I think we have the story there. Let's say make a fun Halloween Mad Lib on a story, and then it will create this activity for your student. So that's it. You don't want to spend too much time. It's there, and then they can now start practicing it. So you will engage them to the maximum. In fact, you can take this and put it in HP5, which we have a subscription to, and you can create an activity that the student can play with it. It's graded, it goes into the grade centers of Blackboard, and so on. So let's just create this for us. And then another one, create gap filling exercise, similar to that one. And then you can create a reading comprehension questions based on the story. Let's say you can have a passive, but let's say we'll create this one about the above story. See, it remembers what was here, what was discussed, and based on that, it will come with comprehension questions that your student can read that story, and then now the answer. What is the name of the witch in the story? What does the witch need to get from whatever? So it has some activities, and you can ask it to generate another one as much as you want to create. Then after that, we look at extracting data. Let me stop here and see any questions we have. I see only one new hand. I'm not sure, Dr. Khalid, your hand is still, or the new hand. But now I have Dr. Rahul.
Yeah.
Dr. Rahul.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Assalamu warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I would like to ask one question with reference to the accounting and finance domain. So it is useful in that domain also, where we can write the statistics that we need for last 2 years or 5 years. It will bring it in similar ways.
Yeah, I think it will do that. I can get you some statistics from all the data to some level, but there is another tool I'll show you in a few minutes. It will do that, but also it can do all the calculation. You can ask it to calculate the interest rate or a tax based on something. All the financial formulas and calculations, all this it can do. Not only that, if you want to go into more advanced thing, you can ask it to write for you a Python code to do a certain formula or calculation, and then it will give you the code. You run it and you make your changes or attach the data to it from Excel or from somewhere else, and it will do the analysis for you. In fact, I asked it to create a little bit more complicated thing, which scheduling of exam of large number of students and creating exam with no conflict and keeping gap between the exam and making students not to do the core course on the same day. And it created for me a Python code that I run, and it does do that. The other thing you can look at, I have a video, I think, on LinkedIn, if you look at it. If in trading, for example, if you teaching trading, I want students to understand all those different indicators, moving average, stochastic, Bollinger Band, and all those things. You can ask it to create even a trading strategy based on how you describe it. And you can also create a trading advisor that when you run it, it tells you Apple at the moment is you can buy Apple because of this and that, or no, you cannot buy Apple. You can say you need. You can do even at that level in finance.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dr. Hazem.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Sorry, Doctor, maybe I joined a little bit late, but just 2 questions. In regard to the maximum number of words that this software generates, like, is there any limit? Like, can a person say, write for me a project, write for me 10 pages about this topic? Can we determine the number of words in our request?
Yes, you can determine the number of words in your request. But at the moment, because of the load in it, I tried like 1,000 words, and it did 1,000 words with no issue. But if you go more, at the moment, because it's not really fully released to everything, it has some load on it, so it might not complete it. But what I find out when you ask it a request and gives you half the answers, okay? If you say continue, it will continue from that place and do the remaining for you. The other challenge, if you copy a large data and paste it on it, I tried like 6 pages, it works fine. More than 6 pages, you have to paste it twice, 6 pages and paste it, then paste the other 6 pages and the other 6 pages, and then later say, based on all the information I provided, please do this analysis or that for me. So this is some technique I learned through going through this one.
Yeah. Thank you, Doctor.
Good, pleasure. Who else we have there?
We have some questions, Dr. Hamad, in Q&A.
Q&A. Okay, let's go to the Q&A. Thank you, Konstantin, for pasting the link. Can we test it? Yes, you can test it. It's free. As I said, you go to chat.openai.com/chat. You will get it, or go to our apps.edu.ac. You will find something called OpenAI. You click on it, it will be there, and you can test it. How? Yeah, try it. Depends. You can push the difficulty level as much as your question do. I think I tried some complicated things, and it was able to come with good answers for that one. The answers you will get as good as how clear is your questions. The more you should consider it, and that's what I do. Like a human, you speak to your assistant or to your sorry, or to your student or to someone. The more clear you are with what you want him to do, the better he will or she will come with the answer for you. One thing it doesn't have at the moment is asking you to validate what you said. Is that what you mean? Maybe that will come in the future, or maybe it will even complicate the issues, but these are at the moment where we are. Okay, we'll continue with the thing we have, and then we will, if you have questions, please let us know. Back to where we are. Okay, two participants said something, I can see them now. But let's look at extracting data from a large text. Let's look at this post about Abu Dhabi University. We have this post, very nice, saying Abu Dhabi ranked third in the world, blah, blah, and there are lots of text on Al-Zawaya publication. So let's go and copy this text to some level. I think let's stop here and copy this one. This is a public text. Now, can they in the future say just, see, now I'm getting an issue. Or let me double refresh. Sometime refreshing will work and get you the answer, the solution. Yes, it's fine. So now it's accepted, hopefully, the text. Usually when you paste something, it will give you a summary of what in that text to do. You can also use it to check your student work or grade your student work. You can put it there and say, based on these criteria, what score the student should get? What is the your evaluation of the writing skills? You give it some sort of a rubric to do there, and it will do. So we pasted this text, and now if we ask to summarize, okay, I want to get the data from that one. There is some data in that text, numbers and stuff, and I want it, if I copy this, say, put the achievement of EDU in numbers. It's a very silly question, but you can write it much better than this, but let's see what will come. So it said we are third place national-wide among higher education institutions in the country. We are 7th place among Arab world, and that's correct. We are among the 350 prestigious universities, that's correct. We are first place in teaching, yes, we are nationwide, and we are second place of research citation, that's spot on, and we are second place for excellence in university education and academic diversity, environment, and international. We are the 10th place globally on the internationalization outlook, and that's correct. We are 264 on citation globally, and that's absolutely correct to do. Okay, and we have 7,500, we have around 50 programs. So it's very nice. If I say, put the above put the above achievements into a table. I want to put it in a nice table. It's a good data. I want to put it in a table. It will say to me something that I'm sorry, but it will do it. It will do it. So now it's done into a table, which I'll copy it, paste it. And so this way you can use it to extract some data. There's a publication you are reading and you need to get some data. You can go and do it manually. You can dump it there and extract it, read the paper, validate this is correct, and then you go and do whatever. So extracting data is something really very good and very powerful from a text. And I said, if the text is too long, paste it multiple times. Put it in chunks and every time paste one, and then say based on all the data above, please extract this and that. Of course, you can ask now, we have the data there, we can ask more questions about the data that related to the achievement of Abu Dhabi University to do. And maybe you can now say, write an email. Look at this, write an email to ADU community, informing them of ADU achievement. You can say, make the message more positive and encouraging and thank the teams and blah, blah, blah. It will write the email the way it should. And then you can play. It gave you a subject, we can ask for a different subject. And now, dear ADU community, we are thrilled to announce that Abu Dhabi University has been ranked 3rd place worldwide in the Times, nationwide in Times Education and blah, blah. And I can say, emphasize, we are the first in teaching. I don't want all, it will rewrite that message with emphasis on the first of teaching. But you can see, when you read the message, you will start finding some patterns in the way it writes, but it writes in really nice, good language. In my opinion, it looks beautiful. It's not my first language, but it looks really very good, professional, grammarly perfect, and saying, see here, we would like to thank the leadership for the UAE. Politically, they are very good as well, and respectively, they are very good. It's very good, especially His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed. And yeah, that's absolutely looks very, very nice message and reflecting what I do want to say about our achievement. But that's just an example of how we can do that. Now let's go into other things. Again, extracting data. You can ask it to come with some data. You say, for example, here I say just write some description of a campus activities, and it will randomize and come with some data. Then I ask it to extract the data. Just want to show that. The next one is writing case studies. And this is one of the, by the way, Elon Musk is behind this one, and he's a crazy, and I like the crazy people. And this world need crazy ethical people, and that's what we need. But if you want to ask it for writing a case study, it will write for you a case study. And also, as Dr. Hatem said, write 500, I'm losing my maybe, case for 500 words, case study on acquisition of Twitters and things like that. Now, this happened, I think, it happened after 2021, but I'm not sure if what it will say. On October 13, it was announced. I think they're updating it. with some data. So this is a case study, which I can say modified that I'm teaching a course on marketing study, and I please modify it based on this objective or that objective, and please draft questions for my student to work in a group and discuss that case study. Then you are there, and you can create multiple case study in the classroom to 4 groups on the spot, and each group discuss their one, and then they can share it with each others and create some activities. Sometimes you get this message on the issue with the network, but it will do the case study, and then I can ask it to generate some questions for you. Okay, we're done with the case study. I think I have few examples of the case study, but it's very similar. You can be very specific, you provide more data. Like here, say create a budget development case study for a real estate company in Dubai that has many mega projects, aggressive marketing, and large group of brokers. And the purpose of this case study is to allow my MBA students to work together to develop the company's budget strategy, budget strategy and consideration to make the company competitive and increase its profit by 10%. Think like that. You dump it there, it will do something for you. You can make it even better and better to do. Now, there is other tool I kept saying before I go to the coding. There is another tool similar to ChatGPT, which give you current data. And I'll show you that one. They call Riot Sonic. Riot Sonic is a paid version, and it is like ChatGPT according to them. It's using OpenAI. The core is the same. And let's go. We have new feature. Unique feature. Okay, I'll look at it later. Okay, so this the Sonic. It has one additional thing is if you include latest data from Google, will provide you with the latest data. And this is good if, for example, I ask a question, I have a video on that one. Tell me the conferences that are happening in Abu Dhabi during the year 2023. So give me the conferences, add the website, add the registration link, and then put it in a table. And then I'll send that information to my team saying, these are some of the conferences happening here. Please review it and make consideration for attending something. But this one also has additional things here. If you look here, they made this update just now. Oh, that's interesting. Where is my Sonic? Sonic, here is it. Let me push it up. This one used to be somewhere else, but now it's here. These are some specialized, you can say ChatGPT. The one we're using now is the general one. There is one is English translator, focusing on that. There's interviewer, if someone wants to practice interview, saying I'm going for a cyber security administrators or whatever job I'm going for, and I need to practice interview. And it starts giving you a question, you give your answers, you give me feedback on your answers and advices and things like that. Travel guide, stand-up comedy, you can do motivational coach, and it's very specialized, poet and philosopher and all those different things, accountant as well. I think I saw a lawyer somewhere as well. Maybe that's gone. Okay. So it can give you very more specific, and this is ChatSonic to do. It can generate also images. You can say create an image, do that, it will do. So the Sonic is one of those people who are using OpenAI to create their own solution based on GPT-3 as well. Okay, applications and coding. As I said, it can give you, can suggest ideas and specification. You have seen when we said we need to write a system to do student tracking, it did that one, okay? Now, if we go back to our discussion there, I hope it's still there. Yeah, it's here. So I think this is the one we spoke about it. I think we said, okay. I think we need maybe to ask a new question. Let's get a new one, refresh the page just to have better, and say, give me I need to develop, and maybe my audio becomes, voice become weak because I go back a little bit to work with the keyboard. Develop an app to track cars used in the company. Okay. Give me the key features and specification that I need to consider. Of course, when you do those apps, you are full of ideas, but you need to make sure you're not missing something critical there. And I do lots of apps, but when I started asking, it gives me really some good ideas. So it came here with GPS tracking. I think it's stuck there because maybe I'm asking get too much questions. How many? So many questions. My idea from asking these questions, although we ask similar one, is to say, give me the databases that needed to build the system. So it will tell me the database, there is a car and the car has plate numbers, and blah, 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 blah. And there is another one called the driver and the thing like that. And the relationship is this and that. It gives me a good logical structures of the database and relationship, which I have to tell you in developing systems, the biggest challenge people facing is understanding the database and the relationship between those databases. Most of people can do nice graphic and things, but didn't know how these things work in the back end. So that can be an issue. Let me switch to the other browsers, which I said I kept it ready just for in case my other account becomes utilized. This is another account. So let's see. Okay, I want to show you the Python part. So now it started faster and seemed to be more fresh. So it came with the GPS tracking. Sometimes I will not think of the GPS tracking if I do the system, but now it's something that I'm considering. GPS tracking is a good thing. I need the vehicle information that I need, then we need trip tracking, we need fuel consumptions of tracking, maintenance tracking, driver tracking, things maybe I will miss if I don't do that. So it gives me something. I have to say it's a machine, but it's, as a human, I have a limit of recalling large information in place. I'm more creative, maybe as a human, I'm talking not me personally, on coming with new ideas. But it came with that. Okay, what databases and fields, okay, sorry, fields and data types I need for this system. Oh. Now it will start giving me information about the data. There's a database on vehicle, and this database will have, this is the minimum thing. You need to be the make, the model, the license numbers, and current mileage, and these are important fields I need to include in that one. And there is, I'm telling you, this is the most critical, difficult part. Most programmers and developers, they will face. It needs lots of experience to be able to come with those database properly. Although it sounds easy, but also the relationship between those tables is the other thing they need to. And now it came with the table. I can say now create this table in an Oracle, create SQL script for me to create those databases in Oracle. Give you the SQL, I dump it in Oracle, the databases are created there. Then I can say, give me suggestion for what pages or forms I need to create, and it will start doing that. Now we're saying here, student can maybe do the project I gave them this way. I can prevent them from this one. But do you think employees in the company will not do that? I think the company will encourage them to do it because they want them to do faster. They want them to follow certain standards. The important thing for that company is that system is up and running and meeting the standards. How the student or the employee created it is different thing. But for us in education, we want to ensure that student really is learning to do. Okay, so that's one part of creating. You can create databases. Now, if I say, give me instructions how to do this one in Python or in HTML5 or in Java or anything, it will do that to me. And say, give me the code, it will give me the code needed. So let's see if we can say, give me step by step now instructions to create this and the system and bubble.io or any other platform. Bubble is relatively new, and it's amazing that it knows what is Bubble, first of all, and it knows its components and its process and workflow and stuff like that. So it will start now telling me, do this, do that, create this page, create that page. And I can go in depth in every page and asking some help. And then I come with my own design, other functionalities, but the core things, it will assist me with that one. Now, if I want this to be in Python or in Java, I can ask specific. Write a Java code, Java code, Java is my best language, to create the authentication page. Now, sometime when it does work, they added this new one, which is very good. You can ask it to stop if you're tired of that. So enough. It's going to give me a hell of instructions, which I don't need. So let's say write a Java code to do the authentication page. Now we will get the Java code. I didn't like Java, did Python? Say, no, please put it in Python. No, I don't want it. I want HTML5. No, I need PHP. Assume I'm doing this on Oracle. So do it in Java service pages or something like that. It does .NET. Choose the language you like. It gives you the code. It gives you the comments in that code, which will help you better understand how how this code is written, and very well documented. And all what you need is just take this copy and take it in your development environment and put it there and start adding the other components that you would like to do. You can even ask it to add for you other things. Say, oh, okay, I need to make sure if the user is from Abu Dhabi University, he will be directed to a special page, but if he is from another sister company, he will go there. If a student, come all these conditions you like, it will rewrite the code for you again and do it. Now, this can be for you as a faculty as well. You want to create an interactive content for your student using HTML5. We spoke about OMLO. So you want to give them a dashboard with a circuit there. They change the voltage and then maybe the current, no, not the current, the resistor. And then they start seeing the ammeters and voltmeters coming on the screen. And if you describe it very well, it will create the page for you, and then your student can use it as a simulation to learn the relationship between those things. Can be done also in finance, can be done in other things. For marketing, one of the great things is, I think we deleted our IDU site one, but let's talk about this program. So say, right, you can ask it to draft for you some social media post for certain things. Ask it to give you ideas for videos that you can create. So give me 10 ideas to market the above did we call it car tracking? Above system, I don't know what did they call it. Okay, so we have some 10 ideas, logical ideas that happening somewhere else. It's not bringing it from nowhere. It's from a best practices by other people using. So saying create a website to provide information about the app, the feature and things like that. Use social media platform to do that. Create a blog that provides helpful information and SEO and things like that. Use the SEO to the search engine optimization. Offer a free trial to the people. This is a practice companies are using and users are using. Attend industry trade show events so you can know about other system and people, potential customers and things like that, which are a good practice. Offer a referral program. Those who refer, they will get maybe some discount or points, and create and distribute case studies about it. Use so it can help our student on entrepreneurship and innovation. These ideas are industry practices, I have to say, and very useful. It's a good place for idea generation at the ChatGPT. Of course, you take the idea, you question it, you critique it, you align it to your environment, to your business, to the place to what you want to achieve, and then throw out some of it, add to some of it, but it gives you a good starting point to do. Okay, so we, I think, done with this. Let me go to my conclusion before we have there's lots of things on coding. Here is my conclusion, and let's have a discussion. So it's really ChatGPT is, and similar others, has huge potential. They have a huge potential and great impact on the way we work. How the future will be, I like Constantine questions. We're losing our mind. We're relying now on technology to think for us. In education, we don't want that to happen. We want our students to think and be creative. But should we get them to a different level, a higher level of thinking, instead of just this thinking, take data together, put it and use all the practice to do? What is that higher level of thinking? I have no clue, honestly. But one thing I can see, the ability to integrate things together is critical. The ability to communicate is still very critical. Even these machines need you to think carefully of the questions before asking. Otherwise, you will not get the answers you're looking for. And then when you get the answer, you should have the ability to see how it fits with what you want to do. This is a huge challenging us, and I think it's mind-blowing the way. We always wanted AI, but when AI now started delivering, we started to be worried. And I think it's right to be worried, but we need to think positively and see what we can do. I think it's not going to replace human on the short run. Long run, I have no clue. I can't guarantee that. I think that can change absolutely. But at least for now, it's supporting us to do better job than replacing us. But if we don't move to the next level, I think maybe it will make us redundant. And then what the impact on that? It's very challenging questions can come from that. The ethical and social implications of using such technology, we need to carefully study it. We need to look at that very carefully and see how we can do it. It's change on the way we think. ChatGPT has a wide range of applications in education, and we have seen many of them can help personalized learning. Students can sit and do revision for what they need to study, and it will provide them with endless exercises, case studies, activities they can practice to do. So it can help. And help also the faculty engaging students in the classroom and coming with endless type of curriculums and activities to do. There are many areas which I think research can happen, both technical on the technology itself, huge areas, and on the policies, on the social science aspects, and many more that we need to explore. Let us open the floor for discussions. Please, let's get your contribution, your thinking about it, and let's discuss it. Nobody knows the answers for these questions I ask, what the future and how this will impact us. We can see the potential, we see the challenges, but we need to discuss as a human being what we think need to do. So let's listen to any of your questions before we conclude. Yes, Dr. Khalid.
Dr. Khalil.
Khalid, sorry, Dr. Khalid. Asif.
No worries, no worries. Dr. Hamad, one thing that I try to test with OpenGPT is doing research, doing literature reviews, doing stuff like that. It cannot work. It cannot work because OpenGPT doesn't have the ability to analyze articles and provide you with the right references for your articles. It cannot go to Google and
I am very happy. I'm very happy it cannot do that.
Yeah, I'm too, honestly. So this is something that just want to pinpoint.
Okay.
It has some limitation, and as you mentioned as well, when some questions, it cannot answer all the questions correctly. I'm not sure if we call it or he or she, but still for now I will call it it.
Call it it. Yeah, I think it is closer for some time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, any other comments? I think I can see Dr. Rahul. Are you? I give you the microphone. I see your hand is still up.
No, it was the last time, sir, not till now.
Okay.
Last time.
Thank you. Okay, any other comments, team? I don't want to, it's not a punishment, this one. If you don't have any comments or feedback or questions or ideas, then I think we will conclude this session. I hope you found it useful. I can see there's a question came. Oh, thank you. Very good. I think the only thing we know things and we develop strategies to benefit of it when we practice it. So my advice, work with it, practices, challenge it, push it to the next level, and see the limitation, and then you will understand. If you judge it by just what you read, what you hear, what people are afraid of, you will not have the right judgment on it. You need really to try it. And it's a fun. We chat on the internet, everything. Let's chat with this machine and see what it can do for us. Sometimes I do some fun things with it, tell me a joke and things like that. It can also be entertaining as well if you want to do. Dr. Rafiq.
Yes, good afternoon, Dr. Hamad. Thank you for this. Another wonderful workshop, really needed in time. Absolutely useful. I just was worried about, my students when they learn, especially in terms of writing essays and paragraphs, and we ask them to rely on certain, apps like Grammarly, etc. They just make, underlining and without any explanations or any real suggestions for the students to learn. I saw that you were talking about adaptive learning, like you can make major remarks and then make valuable and validated suggestions that really hit the target right on the head, so that the students know what they need to focus more on. So can we work on that, or is there a way we can make use of more adaptive learning and make this app help us more? Because Grammarly is not really helpful. I feel it just directs them or corrects for them without making them think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can with this one, I think, but you need to break it into components. You understand language better than me, but if you focus on maybe type of sentence and maybe on structures, and you ask question and ask for exercises, give me an example of a sentence that include grammar on the use of the right verb or thing like that.
Subject-verb agreement. Yes, absolutely.
You give it to the student, they look at it, then so it generates for you 100 of it or whatever to do. So you have enough for the student to practice. So getting it to generate those content, which we do as people take us time, this machine can do it faster.
So we can collect all the students' work, run it on the system, and it will basically tell us what more lessons we should focus on, right?
I think also you can ask it a question. I didn't try that one, but we can say, tell me in terms of grammar, what
is the most common error?
Wrong. What is wrong in this sentence? Okay, or this paragraph. Yeah, and then you paste the paragraph there. Hamad, maybe it will know Hamad are good persons. Something like. We'll see what will come. Yeah, see, this is the good. If you just be creative and challenge it, it comes to you with some amazing thing. So in terms of the grammar, the sentence Hamad are a good person is incorrect, because Hamad is a proper noun and refers to one person. So it should be Hamad is a good person.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that is not.
This is better than grammar.
Dr. Hamad, sorry to interrupt you. That's the very point I'm asking about, because in Grammarly it doesn't, it just underlines. But now we need a suggestion with a remark so that the student understands where he made the mistake better. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so you more come with these creative ideas, you will get, absolutely, it'll give you better than Grammarly that will select, change R to S and person to person and things like that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Jum'a Mubarak, Dr. Hamad. Thank you.
Allah barik feek. yeah, my message here is to everyone is be creative, ask questions and think of the best way to use it. You will find endless, I have to say, endless thing to do. Rafiq, back? Are you back or you still old hand? Old hand. Any other questions? If you ask a good question, maybe we'll learn all. Rafiq helped us now learn something new, which I didn't think about it. It just, we saw it now. So, okay. I hope you are listening to me. You're not doing something else. And I wish you a great weekend. And watch the video again if you missed any part of this one. It's a huge opportunity which we should not miss. And thank you all.
Thank you,
Dr.
Dr.
Hamad, there's a question from Alberto. I'm not sure if you answered this or no.
In chat.
Is
In
there
the Q&A.
In Q&A.
is there any protocol then we need to know or limitation? Alberto, we don't have now, though there is a group meeting to discuss to come with sort of protocol and things like that. But the general direction from the provost and the deans, we be vigilant, we take advantage of it and study it very well. Hopefully we'll be leading in this one among other universities and come with best practices and a way to make sure it adds value, becomes useful to us than adding other challenges. Alberto is in a train, which is very good, and joining us from a train. Thank you, Alberto. When you come back, let's have a session maybe for the community, your community, and maybe we can look at how it can help with entrepreneurships and innovation as well. Yeah. Okay, I'm done, Dr. Chan.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hamad. I tried I asked ChatGPT to create a story about a dog called Max. It created a really interesting story, and Grammarly plagiarism detector at least could not detect anything, any plagiarism there, which was interesting and scary. So we need different tools. Definitely, we cannot use the traditional tools to find plagiarism in writings done by ChatGPT. The affordances of AI, Dr. Hamad, are really astonishing. And as you suggested, with great power comes great responsibility. So we have to really think about how these AI apps could be both used and abused. So thank you so much for this very interesting, intriguing, and thought-provoking session. Thank you also to Dr. Fateha for giving us the opportunity here. Thank you, colleagues, for joining us on a Friday afternoon. And please do not forget to give your feedback on this session. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Have a good weekend. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.